Jesus' Army. One day, instead of knocking doors, I thought clipboarding might be good. I'd still be working for N-Power, getting deals just like I should. But soon monotony had kicked in. So what I did instead was ask random girls if they'd do porn and what they did in bed. I found a couple of stinky sluts who said they'd do a porno movie. So I took their names and numbers and thought, wouldn't it be groovy to convince them later on to meet me and Ben in Dover? They gave me their addresses, so I said that I'd come over with Big Bad Ben, a porno actor and legend in the making. You'll be doing some light oral, I said, and 2 dicks you will be taking. Now all I had to do was convince my buddy Ben to go out on the piss in Dover with yours truly once again, which was fairly easy, so on the way I revealed to Ben my blag. Ben, you're on your way to make a film with a pair of Dover slags. And Ben, you've got to take the role of an adult movie star. Ben had no choice but to come along as we had got too far. So when we arrived at Dover, we went for some courage of the Dutch. We were, after all, about to stick our cocks in some bird's crutch. We drank and drank till we were drunk, but then hit a complication. The piece of paper with the girl's address I had lost in transportation. We now were smashed on beer and ease, and we weren't sure where to go, so we wandered all around Dover town looking for the house owned by the hoes. In the end, we walked back to the high street, because their house could not be found. Perhaps we'll find something funny, I said, if we take a look around. But lots of people in combat gear were now stood in front of us. They were approaching random people by a Jesus Army bus. One made a movement straight for Ben, and another came my way. You guys need some redemption, and for you we're going to pray. So I'm stood there, and Ben stood there, as these guys prayed for us to the Lord. At first we felt redemption, but then we just felt bored. Thanks for that, I told this dude, as he looked up to Jesus in the sky. I know you work for Jesus, but we're pissed and rather high. But then I had a brainwave. You see, by now it was quite late. Perhaps the Jesus Army bus was in fact an act of fate. I'd kind of hoped the ropey sluts would have let us stay at theirs, but we didn't find the ropey sluts and had no taxi fare. The trains had all stopped running. We had no way to get back. So I said to the Jesus chap, it's faith in God I lack, but one thing you could do for us that would now restore my faith is let me and my friend sleep on your bus, because it looks so warm and safe. We, you see, have been left stranded, and we live very far away. If you could fit us on your bus, it would really save the day. The Jesus Army guy looked puzzled, and weren't sure what he should answer. Were we 2 lost sheep in the night, or just a pair of chancers? I'll go and ask someone else, he said, not knowing what to do. The guy came back and said, OK. I said, that's very kind of you. But rather than going in the bus to sleep with the Jesus Army, we told them we'd be back later on, for reasons they found balmy. Right, we're going to that nightclub. It's called Snoop's to have a beer. Promise that your Jesus bus in 2 hours will still be here. The Jesus man confirmed the bus would be there throughout the night, so he went to a club called Snoop's. But our finances were tight. We had the princely sum of 50 pence between us. Come on, Ben, let's sneak in. But the doorman had it sussed. Sorry, boys, it's £3 each, so come back with some cash. The only thing I had on me was half an ounce of hash. Who will buy my hash? Who wants some gear? I asked the passers-by. Then I saw some dude in the kebab shop who I thought was worth a try. Yeah, I'll buy your hash for £20, the kebab shop dude declared, which gave me and Ben a tenner each after the 20 had been shared. So off we skipped back to the club, with our newfound wealth. But there was only about 3 clubbers there along with Benjamin and myself. So round the club we explored and found a door we could walk through, which took us into a scene from Tomb Raider, and for me, some deja vu. There was an old chandelier covered in cobwebs and a load of spiral stairs. It was dark and it was eerie, and I could feel all my little hairs standing to attention as if I'd seen a ghost. But the fact I dreamt this scene before is what shit me up the most. This was the first and only time that I'd felt I'd been somewhere before, and it happened in this nightclub behind some fucking random door. And as I stood there all confused, in a surreal state of fear, some big doorman appeared from down the stairs shouting, "Why the fuck are you in here?" We thought this was the toilet," was the response that came from Ben. "Well, don't ever fucking come through this fucking door again." The evening had got fucking weird. I mean, that was just too odd. So we thought we'd better leave the club and go back to the bus of God. We walked back to where the bus should have been, but the Jesus Army had vacated. "We will stay and wait for you," was what the Jesus dude had stated. Getting lied to by them Christians was a real pain in the neck. We had to get a taxi home and pay with bouncy checks. But at least we got back to where we lived, so I thanked the Lord that night in prayer. Although I was still completely mortified that the Jesus Army bus weren't there. Takeaways. During the entire course of my Church Square days, I wrote a lot of bouncy cheques to pay for takeaways, and quite often would get visits from delivery gentlemen. "Your fucking cheque," they would say, "it's bounced on us again."